What is up? What is going on, everybody? I am back with the Mariners post-game show, post-game recap. First and foremost, thank you to everybody that joined my stream tonight. I had a great time doing it. Probably my most successful stream of the year. I think we got up to 25 people in there at one point. To new subscribers, welcome in. Appreciate you guys hitting the sub button. If you're a new person for this video, please hit that sub button. Please like the video. If you enjoy it, if you'd be so obliged to do so, I'd appreciate it. I think you'll enjoy my takes and my Mariners content. And yeah, let's get into it. I appreciate everybody that has subbed and again that joins me for those streams. Had a lot of fun tonight, despite a very, very, very frustrating loss tonight for the Seattle Mariners. And we're not going over a box score in this game. I'm really going to try not to rant and rave too much, but they've got to win that game. They absolutely have to. Listen, the D-backs had tons of chances too. From a D-backs perspective, if they would have lost, you would have said the same thing. So me saying that isn't the Mariners saying, oh, the D-backs got lucky. I'm not. I'm just saying from the Mariners standpoint, that is a game you have to win. You have to find a way. And a lot of poor performances around. The Mariners jumped up 3-0 in this game, ended up giving it back. And let's just get into it. Bryan Woo was not good enough. In fact, Bryan Woo was bad tonight. I'm sorry, but 5 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, no strikeouts. That's about as bad of a 5-inning, 3-run performance as you can have. Woo was very fortunate to get out of that, only giving up 3 runs. Very fortunate. He was not good. And I don't know if it's Bryan Woo's hitting a wall. And that's possible. He's a rookie. He's been fine. I have nothing against Bryan Woo, but he just has not looked as sharp as last few times out. He was okay against Toronto. He was not good against Minnesota before that. There's a reason I talked about this team looking to acquire a veteran starter. But we'll get into maybe even that doesn't make a ton of sense. But Woo's just not been very sharp the last month, really. And it could just be hitting a wall, and that's fine. Listen, Bryan Woo, we did not expect to see him this year, and he's done an admirable job, but he was not good at all tonight. And I'm sorry, even 5 innings, 3 earned runs is not very good, but just even aside, it was even worse than that. But there was a unit that was worse, and that was the offense. And I'm sorry, the offense was bad. They started out good. They got a couple sac flies. Listen, you'd prefer base hits in those spots. Murphy had a sac fly and Gino did as well. But it was okay that they were scoring runs. Listen, beggars can't be choosers. They got the runs in. That's great. And then Murphy hit the home run. That's awesome. Murphy's been fantastic. But the amount of opportunities this team had with runners in scoring position where they just failed was egregious, terrible, and pretty pathetic. A pretty pathetic effort by the offense. 0 for 12. 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position. Nothing with runners on. 5th inning, first and second, 1 out, don't score. Now, in Gino's defense, he hit a ball pretty hard to the gap. Tracked down. Nothing there. 6th inning, first and second, nobody out, don't score. 7th inning, Cobby gets the second with nobody out, don't score. The 9th inning, what an at-bat by Cade Marlowe. A 1-out triple as the tying run. A great at-bat, hits one to the gap. Runner at third, less than 1 out. Caballero, terrible at-bat, strikes out. Good at-bat by JP. And then Julio, quite frankly, with a terrible at-bat. I don't want to get on Julio too much. He's been really good the last few days. And it's good to see Julio starting to play better. But that's a bad at-bat in that situation. He had some pitches there in the middle he could have hit as well. So really, really frustrating all around. And you kind of thought Marlowe had the triple, like one more shot. One more shot for this team with runners in scoring position to get that big hit. They'd failed all game, and it looked like they'd finally have that opportunity in the 9th to redeem it. Nope. Still couldn't do it. Really pathetic. You've got to find a way. Listen, they're 5.5 out of a playoff spot. I can't, and when I want to be clear when I say this, when I say what I'm about to say, I can't keep tipping my cap. That's not saying that the D-backs didn't deserve to win. That's not. I'll get into some other things too. My point is that this team cannot just go, at these games anymore. There's only 58 games left. That's a lot of games. That's a lot of games. But they're 5.5 out behind Toronto. And they're not just chasing Toronto. You've got to pass Boston. You've got to pass New York. You've got to pass the Angels. And you've got to pass one of Houston, Texas, or Toronto. You got to pass 5 teams. That is not easy. The Mariners are 15-9 in July. And they have gone from, I believe, 5.5 back to 5.5 back. It is not easy when you're trying to catch really good teams to make up ground. And when you have very winnable games, you've got to find a way to win it. Again, that's not taking away. If I was a Diamondbacks fan and they lost, you'd probably be saying the same thing. This is a very winnable game that they let slip away. They've got to win these coin flip games. They were up 3-0. They've got to find a way. Brian Woo's got to get through 5 or 6 there and turn it over the pen. That 8th inning, pitching-wise, was awful. I'm sorry, but Munoz has got to go after Carroll there. If Corbin Carroll hits one to the gap, I guess I do have one more cap to tip. Fine. But he walks him and then just no awareness. Corbin Carroll stole second and third like he was just, there was nobody there. There literally was. I mean, he just walking to second and third. Then, Canzone gets the base hit, and that's pretty much your ball game. The Mariners did battle in the 9th. But yeah, that pretty much did it. You got to go after the hitter. You've got to have some awareness of the base runner. Like, I get Munoz relievers aren't much for pickoff moves, but my gosh, you've got to have something to at least prevent him from stealing third in that situation. Something that you can do. Just battle all around. And just frustrating loss. And they cannot afford to lose. I'm sorry. Like, they can't. They're 6.5 and 5.5 back of a playoff spot. If they were a game back or 4 games up, it happens. You're going to lose some of these games. They're close games. Sometimes teams are going to get you. And is that the case? Yes. But the Mariners have dug themselves a big enough hole. They can't do that anymore. This was a winnable game. They got to find a way. I know they're not going to win every winnable game the rest of the year. I understand that. And they still got a chance to win a series tomorrow. That's great. If you can finish this road trip 4-2, that's fantastic. But this one was right there for the taking. And just all you needed was one hit. I'm not asking this team to put up 10 runs. I'm not. But multiple runners in scoring position, if they would have gotten to 5 runs, that wouldn't have been crazy. That would have been a base hit here and there. And it bleeds back into yesterday. I forgave it because they won. But that 8th and 9th inning, no ability to add on. Against a bullpen that has not been super sharp this year. I will say some of the guys that came in had some decent numbers for the D-backs. But still, a bullpen that has struggled recently. And you just need to scrounge out 1 or 2 runs, and they couldn't do it. And the offense has been much better in July. In fact, it's been really good in July. They scored 3 runs. That's not great. So it's hard because and listen, one of the innings it was Tom Murphy that grounded into a double play. Murph's been fantastic. I can't jump on him. Cade Marlowe struck out with a runner on third. Marlowe's been great, and he's a kid. I can't jump on Cade Marlowe. But I'll get on Caballero. That was a bad at-bat in the 9th. He's got to find a way there. That 3-0 pitch was a cookie. Take a shot at that 3-0 pitch. Take a swing at it. I mean, you're going to get your best pitch. Take a hack at it. Julio's got to be better in that situation. Julio's had a great week. He has. But man, when they needed him the most there, when they absolutely needed him the most, it's kind of been that way for Julio this season with runners in scoring position. Or, in late innings. He's actually been pretty good with runners in scoring position, but the late innings. And it looked like that kind of turned a corner in Minnesota and then back to this tonight. And listen, I don't think Julio is not clutch. He hasn't been clutch this year. I don't think Julio is inherently not clutch. But man, you've got to find a way there. And there were some pitches to hit. There were some splitters there that hung up a little bit that could have been into the gap. That could have been. Cade Marlowe can't be the only one. Cade Marlowe should be the guy that's making the outs in those situations. It should be Julio hitting the triple, then Cade Marlowe striking out. Not the other way around. It's... And like I said, it goes back to everything. 3-0 lead, Brian Woo wasn't good. He just wasn't today. And that's... Listen, Brian Woo's a rookie, and I try not to get on those guys, but man, is that a bad line. The 2 strikeouts, no walks in 5 innings. That's like the Marco Gonzalez special from Brian Woo. Listen, it's going back to a lot of things. It's why the Robbie Ray injury matters. And I know Woo didn't specifically take Robbie Ray's spot necessarily, but do they win that game with Robbie Ray? They probably find a way. Robbie Ray probably gets them through it. Do they win it with Marco? Is Marco kind of dig down and get that veteran presence there today and find a way to keep him at 2 runs through 5 innings? Maybe. I'm not picking on Brian Woo. He's a rookie. This is why those injuries matter, because you're asking a lot of Bryce Miller, Brian Woo, to get you through the dog days of summer. And the guys getting you through the dog days need to be Marco and Robbie Ray, the veterans. And they're hurt. There's nothing they can do about that, but that's where we're at. You're asking a lot of rookies. Cade Marlowe came through. Julio's still in his 2nd year. I have to remember that sometimes. I have to. I'm talking to you guys. I need to remember that sometimes. Julio's still a kid. It's going to happen. Julio's going to have an amazing career. He is going to be absolutely fantastic. He's had a good year. It just, it's just been in those late situations where he has just not come through. Caballero, rookie, struck out. Like, you're asking a lot of guys that just don't have a lot of that experience. Now you can say, well, J.A.K. Marlowe came through and he's a rookie. I know. But you're asking a lot of guys that just don't have a ton of major league experience. Even Munoz. Yeah, that 8th inning was bad, but Corbin Carroll's a really good player. He walked and then he stole a couple bases. Corbin Carroll's fantastic. There's a reason he is a NL MVP candidate, him and Acuna. There's a big reason for that. All in all, Munoz truthfully probably wasn't even that bad in the 8th inning. He gave up a walk and a base hit. If Corbin Carroll wasn't a super freak, if Murphy was a little bit better at throwing out runners and Munoz as a reliever doesn't have much of a pickoff move, if that was all a little bit better, they'd probably get out of that inning. But it's just kind of the perfect storm. But unfortunately, the Mariners are putting themselves in position where they can't let those perfect storms get them. They have to find a way to come through with those. And they didn't. That's why it's frustrating, because they're back to 5.5 back. And I think people are kind of underestimating how many games that is. Like I said, they're 15-9 in July and they have not made up ground. Now, they've made up ground on like Boston and New York, a little bit in Texas. They have made up some ground overall. But, not in the margins, they've made up some ground. But overall, they haven't. They're still 5 back of a playoff spot here. Toronto's really good, and you don't play Toronto anymore. So you're going to have to hope that you're 6 games better than them. And on top of that, that's also going to mean passing the Yankees and the Red Sox. There's a reason, and it's not me being pessimistic. I'm not trying to be. I'm a very optimistic person. I bet you the playoff odds on Fangraphs are about 13 or 14 right now. It's why I'm okay with selling some pieces. And that's okay. It's not a doom and gloom. It's not the end of the world. This team has a core that can bounce back next year. They do. They absolutely do. They need to add some stuff around it. There's a really big name that's going to be a free agent next year that could be a big piece for this team. And you can get some stuff for some of these guys. Like, it's trading Paul Sewald isn't punting 2024. It's not even punting 2023 necessarily. It's looking for pieces that can help you this year and next year in the future. That's what this team should be doing. People ask me, think they should sell? No, this team shouldn't be fire selling anything. But there are definitely some pieces I think should be on the table. And look at what some of these guys are getting. Like, Kendall Graveman got back a really good prospect. Giolito's a free agent. Him and Ronaldo Lopez. Giolito's kind of a mid-rotation starter. And I get the trades from the Astros and the Angels' perspectives. But those are kind of mid-level guys, and they got hauls. Paul Sewald is a better pitcher right now than Kendall Graveman. Like, you could probably get a decent haul right now. David Robertson got a legitimate prospect. Now, a very young, raw prospect from the Marlins, but someone very legitimate. I mean, you have to think about it. You do. You have to look at the odds and say, what are we better off doing? And if you happen to catch lightning in a bottle and get in this year, great. I'm not giving up on the season. I'm not. I will be here. I'm 100% not giving up. There's still a 6-7 game winning streak away from being probably 2-3 back and right in this thing. But when's it going to come? Like, when's it going to happen? And in order to get those streaks, you've got to win games like this. You got to find a way. So, frustrating loss. Maybe I wasn't there. Maybe that was the issue. Maybe I am the gift for the Mariners. I will not be there tomorrow either. So, we'll see Luis Castillo on the bump tomorrow. Merrill Kelly opposing him, so it's not going to be easy. We'll see what happens. So, hopefully still got a chance to win a series tomorrow. That's awesome. You'll take that. If they can find a way to win the series, a 4-2 road trip is really good. But it's just letting winnable games slip away. You got to get these. Like, I'd almost rather lose 13-0, just go, okay, it happened. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Hope everybody has a great night. Hopefully the Mariners don't leave 1,000 men on base tomorrow, and we'll see. Have a great night, everybody. Enjoy your Saturday. Remember to like, comment, and do not forget to hit that sub button as I'm trying to get to 2K. Not going to happen tonight, but we're getting there. Have a great night, everybody. As always, go Mariners. Peace.